everybody to the very first official video. It's gonna be episode 1, and like I said, this one is gonna be maybe just a little bit controversial. I wanted to do something big for the first episode, and with the ongoing issues in America right now, I said, why not talk about it? I am your host, J Vibes, and let's get into what's going on and what I think about what I think about these issues. So, I'm not gonna make this a political thing. I'm not, but I am gonna start off by saying congratulations to Joe Biden on winning the presidency, and shout out to Kamala Harris on being vice president, being the first woman vice president, not only being the first woman vice president, but also being the first vice president of color. So congratulations to her and all that good stuff. Now, with that being said, we got Trump out of office. And, I'm going to give it to Trump. He's a good businessman. He is a businessman. But when it came to these social issues, these racial issues, he just didn't care. As long as it didn't benefit him, it didn't matter. All right? So it really wasn't in his realm. So he was like, hey, out of sight, out of mind. All right? If it doesn't involve me, I'm going to stay over here. Y'all just do what y'all do, America. So that's the way that I feel that he acted towards these social issues. And, I guess it is what it is at this point. Like I said, he's not the president anymore. He's been impeached twice. So, but like I said, I'm not going to make this a political issue. I just wanted to get that out there. So, let's go ahead and get into some of these things is what I think. Now, we just had Martin Luther King Day. And a lot of what I have in here is going to be a lot of Martin Luther King quotes. Because a lot of the quotes that he said back then still applies to what is happening today. So let's get into it. Let's talk about these riots. Let's talk about these protests. And the Black Lives Matters movement was a peaceful protest. The looters that happened to be robbing the stores and everything, that had nothing to do with Black Lives Matters. Those were just criminals who saw an opportunity and they took it. Yeah, they saw an opening and they just ran with it. So those were not part of the protest at all. And I just want to say, during these protests, you have all these people who are marching peacefully, walking peacefully, kneeling peacefully, get tear gas thrown at them, get shot with pellet guns. What else? They had smoke thrown at them. They weren't doing anything. And nobody was trying to injure cops. Nobody was trying to do anything. They just wanted to get a point across. Now, the riots that happened at the Capitol, and yes, there were riots that weren't protests at all. Riots, they were over there throwing stuff at the police officers, throwing bricks. I think at even one point they might have killed one of the police officers. And where was the tear gas at with them? Where were the pellet guns with them? Where was all the National Guard at? No, they still managed to break into the Capitol. And, nothing happened to them. Why? Color of their skin? Maybe. Who knows? Just where was security at? So with that being said, I'm going to get into my first Martin Luther King quote. And what he says is, riot is the language of the unheard. So basically what that means is that, you march peacefully, you walk peacefully. And when you still feel like you're not being heard, you start to riot. And a riot is basically like, I'm going to leave a physical impression on you. If you're not hearing me peacefully, okay. Let me do something that's going to really catch your attention. Let me put these hands on you. Let me break something. That's what a riot is. And let's point out that during that time, like the Black Lives Matters movement, they weren't rioting. They were just walking peacefully. It wasn't even bothering nobody, just walking. That's it. Another quote that he had on here that I want to talk about is the limitation of riots. Moral questions aside, is that they cannot win and their participants know it. Hence, rioting is not revolutionary but reactionary because it invites defeat. It involves an emotional catharsis, but it must be followed by a sense of futility. So basically what that means is that when you riot, you don't win. It is a reaction. So when one group does something, you riot to react to it, but it doesn't, it doesn't work out. It doesn't resolve anything. So one group does something, the other one reacts, then that same group right there reacts again, and it's just going back and forth, back and forth. And to be honest, it really may cause another civil war. But right now, I'm just hoping that we can all keep the peace. We can all just keep on moving forward and keep on progressing. So when it comes to that, to when he says it involves an emotional catharsis, but it invites defeat. This basically means that yes, you have, emotion behind it. You have a reason why you think you're doing good behind it, but in the end, it's not going to work out. You're not going to win with it. And then it says it must be followed by a sense of futility. And that basically means is that a riot is pointless. It's useless. What does it resolve? What does it do? It just makes you, to be honest, look like a fool. You're like, because you want to get your physical impression, in there, and you want to say, hey, this is how I feel. You're going to listen to me, and you're going to do what I say. But in the end, it just doesn't work out. Like I said, I'm going to be having a lot of Martin Luther King quotes in there. But let's be honest, we all want to be peaceful like Martin Luther King. But eventually you push us close to the edge and that Malcolm X will come out. And the reason why I say that Malcolm X will come out is because while Dr. King was preaching for peaceful protest, Malcolm X was like, yeah, that's not working. I'm trying to do what's best for my race. I'm trying to use self-defense. So if that means if I got to be physical, if I got to use violence against them, I will, to get my point across and to get, peace and, keep my freedom. And I'm going to be honest with you. Not a lot has changed in America from the 1940s and the 1950s to today. Only two things has changed. Technology, and that black and browns can go into the same establishments as Caucasians or white people. Those are the only two things that change. And yet we still put people in the presidency or put people in office who were born or who lived through that time. And it's like that's how they still view America, as in the 1940s and in the 1950s when segregation was still going on. No, the youngest age you can be president is 35. All right. And I'm not saying I want a 35-year-old in there. No, I want somebody with the experience can be in office, but I want them to be younger, whether they're in their 40s or 50s. Somebody who's been around a diverse group of people, who went to school with a diverse group of people, who are friends with a diverse group of people, who can see it from all sides. And I feel like whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, if you can do that and you respect all the races, you can, and if you run for office and obviously if you say all the right things, I think we can actually try to make a difference here in America. I really think we can. Now, with that being said, I'm like I said, that's all that I want to say with when it comes to political stuff. Like I said, I don't want this to be political. I'm just gonna, state my opinions and how I view it. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of history of myself. I'm Mexican. I love my Latino heritage. I love my Latino culture. But to be honest, I didn't grow up that way. I didn't grow up in a traditional Mexican household. I didn't grow up speaking Spanish. I can make out some words, and I think I can say enough to get by. But to be honest, I grew up in the black culture. I grew up around black people. Most of my friends, my best friends, who I call my brothers, are black. That's so 8 times out of 10, that's where I'm gonna lean towards. That's just the way that I grew up. That's the way that I know. And like all my friends, I really do have a big diverse group of friends. Well, one of my best friends, one of my brothers, he's white. One of my other best friends, or the rest of my best friends, my other brothers, they're black. We're literally a bar joke waiting to happen, and that's just what it is. But one thing that gets me is when people say that they don't see color, they don't see race. That is a lie. Everybody sees color. Everybody sees race. I mean, unless you're colorblind, and that's all that it is. But the fact is that we know that we're different races. We know, we see it, and we can joke about it. We can make stereotypical jokes, and we don't mean any harm. We don't mean nothing. That's just the way that we are. We'll roast each other. We may get mad at each other that day, but at the end of the day, or the next day after, we're still back in there. You know, we're still back being friends. We're still joking around. And that's all that it is to it. You know, it's because we have the same mindset and that we are all so much alike and agree on a lot of things. That's what makes us who we are. And that's the way that it should be. As long as you can agree on things, as long as y'all have the certain mindset, and if y'all can get along, then why can't, why do you have to separate by race? Why do you have to separate by skin color? I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. And let's be honest, racism is taught. Nobody is born with racism in their DNA. It's not like, oh, I'm going to wake up, or I'm racist now. No. No, that's not what that is. As a little kid, you are affected by how your parents raised you and about how your environment is. And that right there, so if you see that, oh, I don't have a lot of, black people in my neighborhood, and you go and see a black person in town, you're like, huh, let me look at them. But then you see how your parents act is like, they see, black, depending on who they are, if they're racist or not, they see a black person, they be like, oh no, let's go to the other side of the street. Or they see a Mexican, and they automatically assume that he wants to mow the lawn, he wants to fix a car. Like, no, that right there is like putting us in a stereotype. That right there is being racist. So, when the kids grow up, they're like, oh, every time I see a Mexican, oh, he must be mowing the lawn. Oh, maybe he can fix my car. If I see a black person, oh no, he might rob me. Oh no, let me go to the other side of the street. And no, like I said, if we can just teach, if we can teach all of our kids to respect each other, then our future is gonna look bright. Like I said, we just all need to get along. Even if you have issues with somebody, you go your way, they go their way. Like I said, just y'all don't have to like each other. Just have respect for each other's space and who we are as humans. All right, and like I said, that ties into me. That ties into people judging people, like not actually getting to know them, and not like trying to see who they are. And another Dr. King quote that I want to say is he quotes, "People fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other." And basically what that means is like, you have a fear of somebody because of the way that they look. But have you actually tried to go talk to them? Like, I can go outside and find a 6'5", 300-pound dude who's probably tatted from his face down to his legs. I bet he'll be a hard-working family man. I bet he'll be the nicest person I ever meet. Versus I can go to somebody who's wearing glasses, have slick back hair, is in a button-down t-shirt. He could be the rudest person I ever met. He could be the meanest person I ever met. He could be a criminal. He could be a killer for all I know. Like, we just don't know how these people are unless we actually talk to them. And that is it. People are scared of the unknown because of their looks. It's like, no, just go talk to the person, see how they are. If they're mean, if they're rude, you can be like, okay, I'll leave you alone. If they're nice, if they're funny, if they're respectful, you can be like, okay, I can talk to you more. I know that I can talk to you more. And that's just it. Like, as the old saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover. I met so many people in my lifetime who are so nice, and they all look different. They're all of different races, versus I've met people of so many different races, and they have always been the most rudest people. It's just different. But like I said, the only way that we'll get to know each other is if we actually communicate. I'm not saying you have to hang out with the person. I'm just saying have a small conversation. That's it. That's all you have to do. Converse a little and see what they're all about. And if we can do that, then, we can stop trying to be scared of people. Stop trying to be scared of, oh no, I see a white man. If I do something wrong, he might tell on me. Or if I see a black person or a brown person, it's like, oh no, he might rob me. He's wearing a hoodie. Let me stop. Nowadays, it's kind of hard to tell with the masks that we wear. Who's doing what, who's trying to be responsible, not give anybody COVID versus, who's going to rob a store. We just don't know at this point. So, with us not getting to know each other, and it's always kind of hard for us to do, a lot of innocent people are getting killed because they look at the person's skin color. Like, how many kids have to get killed because of their skin color? How many innocent adults who just want to go home, be with their family, get killed because somebody else walked into their house and shot them because he was walking down the street eating candy in a black hoodie and he gets shot at because you think that he was going to do something. No, that's not the way that the world works. And it makes us sad because people who are actually trying to do their job, they're just, they have this sense of fear that, oh no, I can get arrested at any time for any kind of degree. I could just be walking right now, get arrested. Sitting here in my apartment, I don't know who's gonna think that this is their apartment, come in and be like, what are you doing in my apartment? When obviously it's my apartment. And then you got these cops getting set free because the police department don't want their little police station to look bad. They don't want their squad to say, oh no, he was never a part of us. Oh no, one of us couldn't do it. Where does it become that police officers are supposed to protect and serve? When does it become that, oh, they can just use and abuse their power whenever they want to? I mean, a lot of us see it. A lot of us do. And a lot of people of color, whether you're black or brown, we're just like, well, we can't do nothing about it because we say something, they're going to come and hassle us now. They don't have to arrest us, but they can still, make our life be in pain, make it, they can just pull us over for no reason just to do it. Like a lot of us have fear when it comes to that. I'm going to actually use a Malcolm X quote right here. He says, you can't separate people from freedom because no one can be at peace. You can't separate peace from freedom because no one can be at peace unless he has his freedom. And basically what that means is that, we can't be at peace. People of color can't be at peace because we really don't have freedom. We're still put in this stereotypical spot that, because of the color of our skin, we're supposed to be doing this, we do that. I have long hair. People look at me and think, he can't be a business person. He can't do any of that. It's like, no, don't judge me because of the way that I look. Don't judge me because I have long hair. I may have a grill in my mouth, may have gold, may have big chains, may have, shiny watches or rings or tattoos. It's like, don't judge me. Get to know me. To be honest, I'm the nicest person you can ever meet. I'm one of the coolest people that you could ever meet. And I respect everybody. I was taught that by my grandfather, may he rest in peace, but he taught me what it is to be a respectful man. And I thank him every single day for that. So we can't, like I said, we can't be at peace until we know that we actually do have our freedom, that we can walk down the street without people thinking that we're doing something. We can, just go into an establishment without people keeping an eye on us, trying to figure out what we're doing. It's like, that's why people of color, we have this sense of fear, sense of, self-defense that, we have to protect ourselves because we never know what's going to happen. We really never know what's going to happen. And it hurts me because I have the younger generation after me, like my nieces, my nephews, my cousins, a lot of people in my family, they are mixed, Mexican and black. And I got to fear every single day for them. I actually have to fear every single day that, they do something or when they grow up. Like they can't wear a black hoodie, they can't go to get candy, they can't walk as soon as it gets dark, and they can't shoot a water gun, outside of their front yard. It's like whatever we do, it's like they see us and be like, oh no, he must be stealing. Oh no, he's wearing a black hoodie. Where's he going? He must be going to rob a house if he's walking here at night. It's like, no, we're trying to get to our destination. We just want to walk. It just so happens it gets dark earlier now. It just so happens that, that's the black hoodie is the only one I got clean. Or black is my favorite color, so I'm going to wear it. And then like I said, nowadays we have to wear a mask and nobody knows what anybody's doing. Nobody knows who's stealing. Nobody knows who's trying to be a robber. Nobody knows who's trying to be a responsible person. And like I said, it hurts me because I want my nieces and nephew to grow up thinking that, okay, we have our freedom. This is a luxury for us. All right, this is my right to have freedom. And hopefully they can have peace within themselves. And it really does hurt me. Then I'm going to quote another Dr. King line right here. And y'all already know the quote. It says, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the contents of their character. And like I said, I don't want my nieces and nephew, I don't want anybody else's kids to grow up thinking that, oh, because I look this way, they're going to think I'm doing something. No, I want them to grow up saying, if I act this way, people aren't going to want to, talk to me. People aren't going to want to hang out with me. But if I act this way, people will respect me. People will get along. We will all get along with each other. Like I said, it hurts because, they can't go outside. I've seen on the news, or I've seen somewhere, that a kid was playing with a water gun, and somebody, it was a child of color, I think it was a black child, was playing with a water gun, mind you, and some white guy pulled up and said, oh, he was waving a gun at me. How can you not tell the difference between a black real gun, or a gun in general, versus a colorful water gun? A colorful water gun, and you see him squeezing the trigger and water's coming out, but you think, oh no, he was gonna shoot me. Like, no, he's just trying to play. He's just trying to have fun. Kids are innocent. Whenever they're just trying to have fun, some of the stuff they do, they don't know that they're doing it. They don't know that it's wrong. And like I said, I have fear for all the kids who grow up. Like, we actually have to teach kids that, oh, as soon as you see, if a police officer stops you, comply with everything they do. Put your hands up so they can't say anything, so they can see it. And luckily now police officers have to wear body cams so we can actually see what they're doing. And like I said, I don't want any kids to grow up in fear, thinking that this is the way that it's got to be every single time that I get pulled over, every single time that I encounter a cop. And that's just all the bad cops. The good cops, and I've met a lot of good cops who actually care. So with that being said, it's like I don't want to take away from the good cops, and I don't want to do any of that. I just want to be able to have our kids live in freedom and live in peace. And, all I want us to do as Americans, as people, as human beings, is let's just try to get along. Let's respect each other. I have another Dr. King quote that I'm going to say, is that we must learn to live together as brothers, or perish together as fools. And then another quote, he says, I want to be the white man's brother, not his brother-in-law. Basically what that last quote is saying, like, your brother-in-law, like, yeah, you're here, we see you, but you're not part of this family. You're not, like, actually part of this family, And no, we're saying that we want to live together as brothers and not perish together as fools. So it's like, let's get along. Let's try to make the future better for each other. Because if we don't, all this fighting and stuff, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it at all. But versus if we can be peaceful with each other, we can respect each other, we can talk to each other, we can actually make America be the strongest nation in the world if we really tried. Be America have the most safest and the most peaceful nation. It's just all about how we communicate with each other, how well we get along, and how well we can respect each other. Don't judge anybody because of the way that they look, by the way that they look. Just actually go and talk to them and get a feel of how they are. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the future of America, it's still, it still can look bright. Like 50, 60 years from now, about half, if not a little bit more, of the population in America is gonna be mixed in some kind of way. They will be mixed with different races. So we just need to learn to accept that fact, and accept that if we can just live together as human beings, just respect each other as human beings, we're all trying to live our lives. Life is so short, yet it's the longest thing that we'll ever do. And that, that right there just means that let's just try to get along. If, like I said, if you're beefing with somebody, if you got issues with somebody, go your way, let them go their way. Y'all don't have to talk to each other. Just, respect each other's lanes. Just try to get along with each other. And I think if we can do that, our nation will be good. Our kids will be good. And, we can actually be able to have peace and have freedom. And I just want to say thank you to anybody who watches this. To, like I said, I want to get y'all's opinions on it as well. I want to do a little part 2 to this, but I want to have different people on here. I want to have somebody that I can talk to, somebody of a different race that I can talk to. you know, and get their opinion on how they view things. You know, so like I said, once again, I thank you, my viewers, for actually watching and actually listening. And like I said, if you have any comments, any suggestions, anything else that y'all want to talk about, please let me know. You know, I would like for y'all to subscribe to this. I would like for y'all to like this. I would like for y'all to share this to get this across. Like I said, this is just one person's viewpoint on it. All right. This is just one person's opinion. You know, share it. Get other people to talk about it. Get other people to comment so we can actually have a conversation. You know, even I don't really want any hateful comments on here, but you know, if you have an opinion, just state it. Just state how you feel. And you know, maybe we can talk about it and come to an agreement somewhere down the middle. Like I said, I thank y'all. Like, view, and subscribe to the It's the Breakdown podcast. And I hope that y'all have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. And yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I think my next podcast video is gonna be about sports. I'm gonna get away from this for a little bit, you know, let this marinate, let this calm down. My next episode will definitely be about sports, will definitely be about the Super Bowl, because you know that's gonna be the next big event coming up. So like I said, I thank y'all for that. Hope y'all tune in next time. This is J Vibes signing off as your host. And y'all have a wonderful, peaceful day.